Welcome back, everybody. Just Mike here. If you don't mind, subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't mind either one of them if you enjoyed this channel or if you didn't enjoy it. Anyway, we have a Japanese clock, or it was made in Japan, and when I first saw this clock, it looked like an art project that someone did to this clock, but looking online, the best I can find, this is an original piece made by the company. Let me show you this clock. This is the clock, and as you can see, it looks like someone, what do they call it, decoed, or what do they call that word, all over this clock. It's on the sides everywhere. Come to find out, that's how this clock was made from the factory. I can't find anything much on this clock. The best I'm going to guess is this is a 1947 or maybe a little bit earlier. This is what I came up with at the most on this clock. It did come with the short pendulum, and I noticed this pendulum's got this little brass piece here. I'm going to call it the washer, and what they did is it's on here, but then they bent it up for an extra look, I guess we'll call it, on, or designed for their pendulum. But it's a nice short pendulum, and it came with 2 keys. I have no idea whether these keys even go to this clock. I haven't even tried. There's something on there. So anyway, the glass is falling out, so I gotta be careful. In fact, I'm gonna take it out now. Possibly. It needed to come out anyway because you can see how filthy this thing is. Also, as filthy as this glass here, it looks like it's been sitting in the barn. Someone cleaned the outside of it, and that was about it. I don't know how you'd get in there unless you were to use Q-tips. Obviously, I'm going to take that glass out so I can do some deep cleaning of this whole clock. I don't know what's on there. I almost want to call that a glue or something smeared on the end. It does have this nice little wood piece in here for a little bit of dressing up the clock. I love these, and this one goes all the way around. This here, oh, it used to have a sticker here. There's no stickers left on this clock, but you can see where this has been nailed on, and this is something I've seen in some pictures. And I don't see nothing on the back that where there used to be a sticker, maybe right there, but that one definitely shows there was a sticker. So it's got the latch right there. It's got the center point, so when you hang your pendulum, supposedly you can get the center of the pendulum to hold right there so you can get your clock level when you hang it on the wall. I guess this does have a like I say, I don't even know if it needs wound. The key is a little bit too loose, this one. And you don't normally want a loose key, because if you keep using it, it's going to start rounding these things off, and eventually those will strip off, and you'll have to go to a much smaller key because you have to file these down square again and match a key that is smaller. It basically does tick, but look how dirty this thing is. I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing apart and clean it. And so I guess the first thing we're gonna do is I'd like to possibly take the door off, because I don't want to keep working on this and leave the weight here of the door on dragging on the hinges or possibly ripping it out because of the age of the clock. That wouldn't be a good thing anyway. So let me get that off. We're going to take the hands off. This here's kind of bent out of shape, and this metal pan here probably was soldered on here, but we're going to have to take a look at that. It's got 3 screws here holding this in, but let me get the door off first and we'll go from there. I don't know if you can see this or not. That looks like a lot of sawdust in here. So whether the door is left open because it's laying out in the garage and someone's into woodworking, I don't know. Anyway, I've already loosened this with the pliers. It's got the oblong hole. Pressure fitted on. Let me take these 3 screws out now. You got the 3 screws out. This here is a painted dial on the metal, I do believe. There's a saying what this clock is. So I got to resolder this on so it'll be round again, and we might try to shine up this metal a little bit too, just to make it pretty again. As you can see, the clock looks very dusty. Hopefully it's not a bug in the wood. This is interesting. It's got a little end handle on it so you can pull it or push it, I guess. So what I think I'm going to do is take these 4 screws out to get this board out, because it's going to be a heck of a lot easier taking that out so I can get the screws out. On these clocks made in Japan and whatnot, they really secured their movements down. So I see 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and I don't doubt there's either 1 or 2 screws on each side. That's all kind of like dusty. And so there's, let's say, a set of 4 screws on the bottom, and I see 1 screw on each side. So let me get that moved out of there. So you can see the sawdust all over this thing. But besides the sawdust, and what caused the sawdust, I don't know. Like I say, it could have been in a shop. But realistically, looking at everything else, it actually looks clean. Just for the heck of it. It's raining outside right now, but I might go ahead, take this outside, and blow it out, and see what this thing looks like. I see no numbers on here. The movement, oh wait a minute. This looks like it has a circle with an A and a C right there. So I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'm going to take that outside and blow it. This is what the inside of the box looks like. I blew this out and it looks really good, but the springs I want to go ahead and let down so I can get them open a little bit more, because to me it looks like there might be still some sawdust on the back side. On this side it's got a plate, so it's a bit hard to blow straight through. Anyway, what I plan on doing is where the clicker is right here, the spring comes around and enters into the top of it. I'd like to take that clicker and pull it out of the clicker. Take that spring, pull it out of the clicker. I'm going to have to use the pliers to get in there because it's kind of, this whole thing's kind of tight trying to do it this way. Take that off. Okay, I got it released and setting on top. So now I should be able to wind it up. And then now I can release it all the way down. And that came out really nice, so I can blow it out. Now, if this is in the case, this would push up against the case and wouldn't be able to expand as far as it did. You gotta remember that on a lot of these clocks, especially the smaller cases that a lot of people like, that clock cannot totally wind down because of that. So here we're going to do the same thing. Right there's the clicker, and right there, this here piece of metal here is a spring. Let's see if we can get at the screwdriver this time. It came clear up. It's not even resting on the clicker. So again, we're going to wind it up just a little bit. Let me get a hold of this. And now it's free and I can unwind it all the way. You try to do it slow, but it just doesn't work out that way all the time. This spring's probably going, oh my goodness, it feels good to be open that far. So now I can get the rest of the dust blown out of there. And what I'll probably do, I'll wind this up again and then I'll oil this, both of them. They actually don't look bad except the dust that was on them. If you were to ask me, I don't even know if this clock was used very much. Because, like I say, it's too clean. There's a chance someone else might have cleaned this clock before. So anyway, let's oil up this clock and see whether it's going to run just fine or not. Because I didn't really give it much of a test. I just saw that I needed to mess with part of the gong. I had to reline it up as it wasn't lined up with the gong, the hammer. And a few other things looked fishy, so as I'm oiling this, I'm able to push on the pivots and see whether they need repaired or not. And at this moment, I don't see any problem with them, but I just got started. So let me wind this back up and we'll go ahead and oil these up. And let me clean up the case and put her back in. Well, here's a start. Make it real shiny. This half is just started with the mothers. This half I haven't done anything with. The door is a little warped. Only $3.99 at a thrift store. Thanks for getting it for me, Bob. So that was a nice AICHI clock. That's all it needed, was just blown out because of someone leaving the door open because someone got tired of the clock, I guess. Oiled it up, shined up the pendulum bob, and waxed the case. And I will admit, I waxed that case 3 times, let it soak in. I didn't even have time to let it soak in. And surprisingly, I'm going to guess that's paint that came from the factory, but it just kept soaking it in. Anyway, the clock's running beautifully in the next room there, and so I'm happy. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe. Why? Because it's free. And give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, God bless.